Alright, hello all, welcome back to the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So I'm getting around to this a bit late, tried to wake up on time last night, missed my alarms unfortunately, is what it is. We do have the EZA details for Super 17. So obviously we're going to be doing the breakdown and the calcs here. Now this guy on release was not all that, which is... He actually released with the GT Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta that EZA'd earlier this year. And they were like so insane. So to get this guy like right after, I don't know, it was just crazy. So this guy before had some really, like, he's just built for androids target Goku. So they're gonna need to do a bit to make him pretty good. And this shit was so funny. He had a 50% chance of gaining a key every time he was hit. So, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with this guy. But, we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll be good. Hopefully he'll be good. I mean, he's like our main content for the week, I believe. I haven't looked at the other stuff they posted, so we'll see. But with that being said, we're going to jump in here. Do keep in mind he is on the full 220 for Omega. You know, he is getting the support. You're probably going to want to run him on GT bosses, but we'll see if that's even like really possible. If they really build him for these conditions, I don't know. All right, let's see. Can anyone beat him when he's Super 17? Let's find out here. GT bosses are androids category key 4, HP attack and defense 170% up. Okay, basic effects. He gets attack and defense 200% up. Chance of performing critical hit and damage reduction rate 17% up. Keep in mind, Omega is giving him 20% damage reduction, so effectively he's at 37% already. Receives an additional key 2 per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. Per androids, target Goku or GT bosses category ally attacking in the same turn, depending on which category has more members. Oh, that's interesting. He gets attack and defense 50% up, so that counts himself as well. It doesn't say self-excluded, so he'll get 150% stats from that. So you're gonna want to run full GT bosses though. You wouldn't be able to like run like Rose on the team. So that's worth putting out. I guess like. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to run like Golden Frieza Gogeta either. So you'd have to like be strictly on GT bosses. Or at least he'd have to be on a rotation with strictly GT bosses rather. Okay. When there's another androids or target Goku category ally in the same... What? We just gave him GT bosses right here. We just did this. We just gave him this. Hello? Dokkan. We just gave him GT boss. Okay. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type. Tech excluded to Rainbow Key Spheres. Defense 170% up. Damage reduction rate 17% up. And of course, it's a really good buff too. For every Rainbow Key Sphere obtained, launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack, up to 2 times. So he needs the Rainbow Key Spheres too. That's awesome. When activating the active skill or when attacking with 17 or more key, attack and defense 70% up. Chance of performing critical hit 17% up. When receiving an attack, defense 100% up. Damage reduction rate 17% up. For every attack received, oh boy, we got a long one here. For every attack received, key 1 up to 7, attack and defense, and chance of performing critical hit 10% up to 70%. Alright, what we got for the SA effects here? Greatly raise attack, raises defense 1 turn, causes cost to damage to enemy, and lowers defense. Yo! Greatly raises attack, so he's a stacker now. Oh, you guys know what that means. Oh, that's dope. Okay. Huge. Although Omega has an AoE, that'd be kind of hard to run him as a... So, how is he on the... Oh, I guess he is a fused fighter, huh? Is he on your leader skill? Final trump card. Is he on final trump card? No, he is not. Well, fuck. Who's... What other 220 does he actually have right now? Is it literally just Omega? I guess the new baby? Tau? Well, that's not good. I think it's literally just Omega that I have that gives him the full 220. Maybe I could work around it for a stacking video. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about that a bit later on. Here, let me go back over here. So, when there's another this is kind of crazy. So I suppose the optimal play would be, is Omega on target Goku, or obviously he's not going to be on androids. No. Okay, who all is on fucking target Goku? How about that? Let me just pull up the fucking category. Yeah, Golden Frieza Gogeta. Easy Golden Frieza. Who else is there? Not a lot. I'm not seeing a lot of options here. I guess you could run his EZA. Or, I mean, the new baby. They have to be one of those two. Oh, is actually Super EZA Broly on Omega's Deed? He should be, right? Yeah, Inhuman Deeds. He should be on that. Although he wouldn't be on the 220. But still. Okay, I mean, I guess if you were to run a rotation with Omega and 17, and then you run like Broly and both Golden Friezas as your rotating slot 3 characters, that could work. That way you'd still get every buff. Although, I mean, you'd probably miss out on... You'd miss out on at least 50% of the attack here and defense, but like overall, you'd get more defense and the damage reduction. How much does he even have, by the way? So 17%, 17%, 17%. So he's at 51% damage reduction. And if you're on Omega's team, that's 71% damage reduction. He looks pretty interesting, I will say. How good he is, I'm not quite sure. But he looks pretty interesting. I'm going to need to see the numbers, is what I'm going to need to do. Yeah, I think he might be pretty good. I don't know. I'm going to have to see the numbers, because this is weird, right? I mean, this is... Because now, like, why? Androids and target Goku. I mean, there's no... We don't have leads for this, really, right now. So... Unless... Is Rildo on target Goku? Is there a Rildo down here? I don't think so. Because I was gonna say, if you know, like the Part 2 LR is like Rildo, maybe it could be like a... I originally thought this, but I kind of doubt it at this point. Maybe it could be like a tag Hellfighter 1717 card. And I guess that could lead target Goku. I think we're really going to need to see what the Part 2 LR is before we know exactly how meta relevant this guy's going to be. Like, he'll be really good on Omega's team probably, but you're going to have the team building's going to be a little off for it to work, but okay. He seems interesting though. I don't like, by the way, I didn't mention this before, he only gets defense on his 12 key. So you kind of need to get these rainbow key spheres, but they're also only a great chance. That's kind of stupid. So we'll see how annoying or not that becomes in actual fights. But he looks relatively decent. Okay, here, I'm gonna cut away. I'm gonna get to doing the calcs. I'll probably calc having the full buff here, and then I'll also calc a separate scenario where you only have 100%, and you also have this. Because on Omega's team, you can't really, unless you fuck with the team building, you can't really get this. And this seems to be a pretty big part of his kit, so I definitely want to show that he can get this. So I will. So let me cut away. I'll figure out exactly how I want to go about them, and we will come back once I am done. All right. So we're back here. That took forever. You wouldn't think. I don't know. Maybe you would. I guess I don't know what you think, but this, as opposed to like a character that's like stacking defense, it's like, oh yeah, it's obvious that's going to be a lot of calcs. This guy, at first glance, I would not have thought I would have needed as much as I did, but it's the very silly fucking bullshit that this excludes GT bosses. I really hate this. It's such a stupid decision. Now, it is still possible to get this buff on a GT boss's setup. Well, rather, an Omega Shenron setup. So, that's sort of what took forever. Now, starting from the top here, I do make that note. That his buffs are weird. Because the first one has GT bosses, but the second one doesn't. It is still possible to get most of the buffs on Omega setup. I did sort of account for if you have the target Goku Android ally, you're going to probably be missing out on 50% of the stats because it counts, as you can see here, it's per depending on which has more. So you can't really, it doesn't like stack or anything. So it just, you can have 50% if it's just him, 100%, or 150%, right? So this sort of scenario with when I have the other buff in, and I make it very clear in the calcs, doesn't have one of those ally buffs. So scrolling through here, he does seem to be very interesting. I would say he's sort of tied to Omega. I mean, that is effectively his really, like, only 220 lead anyway. I mean, I guess he's on Frieza's team. He's probably, I mean, he's on Baby's, I imagine, the full. He's on the full 220 for Baby, right? I don't know if he's on Tao's, but he's not on any of these three, I don't think. So you're effectively, you're running him on Omega Shenron or Baby. And if you're running him on Omega, right, this is really what you need to pay attention to, which I do think the correct play, even if you're not going for, which I would say you kind of probably really should, even if you're not going for the target Goku Android sort of buff, you can still take advantage of running him on full GT bosses to get the big buff. Now, something to note throughout his kit, obviously, 17%, 17%, 17%. Right, so he has 51% damage reduction. If you're on double Omega, that's 71% damage reduction. However, he doesn't have like guard or anything. So I think he's really good. I think he's going to be really, really effective. But it is worth pointing out that, I mean, he's wonky. I mean, he was wonky before. I think he's wonky now. Because now, I feel like this is really what you're going to be seeing from him. So I calc these just to be safe. The 3 ally buff. But really, you're going to want to go for this buff. The whole way through. The Android target Goku buff, because that's the one that gives you Rainbow Orb changing. The 170% defense, which is obviously you're only missing out on 50%, so you still gain 120%. And you lose out on 50% attack as well, but you also get 17% damage reduction. This is pretty much a like must-have ability. So we keep going down, right? Now for the first turn, because I knew I was gonna have to do a lot of calcs anyway, I did just like throw all 7 attacks received in. Usually maybe I would have done like 5 or something. So maybe this isn't gonna be the most common that you get all of them immediately, but I'm telling you right now that these are already this is like the longest character I've calced already. As crazy as that sounds, because once again he's not stacking defense, but he's built so like wonky that I had to sort of show both scenarios. And I'm just sort of scrolling through here slowly. There's just so many numbers, right? But I mean, once again, what I really think you should pay attention to is the Omega setup. Now, something with Super 17, these are only great chances. I would say they're kind of paramount to how like good he's going to be, and you're going to want to get a lot of additional on him, get hidden potential super. But I just want to point that out. Those aren't guaranteed. If you miss them, you're going to feel it. Because his 18 key does not give him defense. He does get defense from phase 2 when doing the 18 key. But the SA effect itself doesn't give him defense. So that's worth pointing out. But yeah, as we go through here, right, this is really when we're fully built up. I think these are really what you should pay attention to. Right here. So on, Double Omega, you have the Target Goku Android buff. 2 of your... Oh, I don't even have this written in here, I guess. Let me make sure to write this in here. 2 ally buff, just to be sure. Did I miss it anywhere else? I might have. Let me make sure to check that, actually, before I put these on Twitter. Good thing I saw that. But yeah, so this is with 2 allies, so you have him, and then I guess it doesn't really matter because Omega would be on the rotation either way. So it'd either be counting the GT boss, or the target Goku. But as long as you have this sort of scenario, and as you can see, we can go up here, right? I mean, this makes a very big difference. We're talking from 3,510,514 defense to 4,224,517. I mean, this is a 700,000 difference. And that's pretty major, especially because you also, down here, also are missing out on 17% damage reduction. So he's built very, very weird. You kind of need to force target Goku onto the team. There's sort of 2 ways to build the team with Super 17, in my opinion. You either run him in slot 1 and rotate 3 target Goku allies, or you permanently rotate him. You still obviously have like double Omega, and then you could just have like EZA Golden Frieza and Golden Frieza Gogeta as like the other sort of main rotation characters. So you can make it work several ways, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose to do that. I guess they wanted to keep the spirit of the character intact and keep him weird. I don't fucking know. So yeah, there we go. I do think he's actually pretty decent, by the way, though. I mean, I actually haven't checked, I suppose. But if we just let me pull up my calculator over here. Pull this up. Okay, so just throwing this out there. Now this isn't like exactly true because like, you know, Rose would have type advantage, right? Obviously pretty deadly. That would make him do a lot more damage. So just keep that in mind. But just saying a 20 million super. I actually haven't checked this before, so let's see. 71%. That cuts down 14,200,000. So, oh, I guess he would still die. You'd need 5,800,000, and that's without type advantage being considered. Okay, well, shit. I mean, to be fair, on GT bosses, you're probably gonna have Rose attack lowered as well. To be fair, I don't know. It's certainly possible to live. Yeah, I mean, you probably have to have a very specific scenario, but I think he could tank a pretty built-up Rose Super. I don't know. I think he's pretty decent. He's definitely a lot better than he was on release, but they still kept him a little wonky. So I don't know why they did that. But I think he is pretty good. So we'll have to see in game. I'm definitely excited for the stacking. You know, we'll have to make sure to do a stacking video for that. That one might be a little. I might have to do like a 200% lead. I don't know. We'll see. That one, because bringing an AoE in there, I don't know about all that. But yeah, let me know what you guys thinking of Super 17 below. I'll do the 55% calcs later on. I mean, this is fucking. That's gonna take forever. So I'll get to them later on, some point in the day. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.